Okay, this is CP Course A3. I just wanted to go over a few thoughts I had. First of all, even if it doesn't cover that much, this sightline is a bit absurd. I mean, effectively, you can see between two, like, playable areas, which I don't think is good. So I would say that you should probably make the height of this building, like, kind of up here more, like the apex of the height, and then just have it like cover that a bit, and then you can also kind of optimize the map a bit more easily. In terms of this first area, it's kind of small. I don't think it's super interesting. There's this building here which could have been cool, but it's kind of there's not really much you can do around it. I mean, it's not a big deal because it's the first area, but still, if you look at something like CP Gorge, this area is usually wider on maps like that, or like CP Moss Rock or Mercenary Park. I think Mercenary Park is probably a good example of an attack defend like spawn courtyard area that you could take inspiration from, because there's kind of things to play around. I think you're hitting onto something nice with this building, but I think you really just need to have, like, more to jump around, because as it is right now, everything's kind of relatively flat. I think maybe pull this wall out more to the right, just to have, again, more space. Generally, I think if you have it around 1,500 habit units wide, you should be good, and then you can kind of populate it with things. Good courtyards. Well, there's Mercenary Park just outside spawn, well, outside blue spawn. You could look at Viaduct/Product. There's kind of the courtyard outside the point. Just little spaces like that I think would make it more interesting. This lobby is relatively short. I think you probably could benefit from making it longer, but I don't know for sure. But it's a tiny area, and there's only really, well, there's 3 entrances, but it's pretty easy to get someone here, and, like, if you rocket jump over, you're at risk of falling in this pit. There's only really, like, oh, can you go here? Okay, you can jump onto the roof, which is a bit interesting. But there's only really, like, 2 entrances to the second point. I mean, 3 if you count kind of going here, but it's quite easy to, like, die here. Or the first point even. Well, just call that A. In general, I think A is just a bit small, because it's literally just this house. So, I would say probably have an area before you get to the house, and then have the house. So, like, take this bit here, kind of pull it out more, like, this way. Just shift everything over so that there's a gap between, like, this entrance here and the house. And then there's kind of a bit more space to defend, and you have the house. Personally, I don't like that it's kind of just a death pit underneath. I think if you had a bigger area, you could kind of have this, like, have, like, a ramp kind of down here, and then you have a bit to play around lower down. And it would kind of it would be a bit more fun. And also, again, it's not very wide, and I think it should be a lot wider, just so that there's a lot more space to stand. Okay. I like this area here. I think this is nice, this little kind of lobby. I mean, it's maybe a little bit long, probably not. I would say, like, maybe just split this with a tiny little doorway, so, like, if you look at between, Granary Mid and Granary Second, or something. Like a little area like that, where there's not really that much going on, but it's, just kind of just a little room. And then, but I might actually be wrong in that regard, I'm not sure. Just, it would be, because it's quite a long distance, it would just be easier to, like, snipe onto there. It's easy to snipe onto there right now. Like, if I stand here, I can see the point. I think you really want to have it so that, like, it splits up the gameplay space a bit. Then you kind of have this lobby area, which I think is good. I don't have much complaints on this front. I mean, you can snipe at spawn standing here. I would personally just like lower this down to like here, just that it kind of stops that a bit. On last, I think red is just in too much of a disadvantaged position. There aren't really many good spots for red to stand. I mean, you can stand here and kind of deny this entrance a bit, and you can see inside there as well. So I would say maybe, like, shift this over to the left more. You can see inside there. But, like, I think this high ground here is just really good, because if you're standing here waiting, like, nobody can see you. And obviously you don't want to create, like, a really long sight line. But I think if you had it so that, like, this whole bit here was just a little room, and then you had it just come out kind of at level here, it would be kind of a bit better for red. Yeah. And again, this point is just not very wide. Here, I think you can kind of get away with it a bit more because it's a last point and it's wider than the rest of the map. But really, I think at minimum, like here to like here, that's kind of how wide you should have the rest of the map, because it's just really quite thin. So yeah, again, the main thing I think you need to do is just change this so that there's a lot more space near this point for people to play. So it's not just like, oh, one team sits here, and like, oh, if you try and contest it, you like fall down and die. There's kind of a bit more to play around. And then that would kind of improve things a lot, I think. But, yeah. Alright, see ya.